Hello and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Personified Interview Podcast. This is your host, Lewis Carlin, and we are part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. Today we have a very special guest. I'm very excited about this guest. This wrestler has wrestled for such promotions as ROH, Chikara, Combat Zone Wrestling, Lucha TO. Without any further ado, I give you Desean Pratt. Desean, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So how's your day going today, Desean?
It's really well. Like I said, just kicking back, just enjoying the 4th of July, enjoying a nice day. That's it.
That's good. That's good. Actually, I'm having a bit of a bad day. This is going to sound funny, but I don't like onions, and I accidentally ate an onion today, so I'm not in, it kind of ruined my day today. My wife makes this soup, and she puts these onions in, and usually I can work around it, but I accidentally ate one. So, I'm not a happy camper about that.
Oh, well, I guess, for the next time, just say, hey, make sure not to put the onions in there, or at least not go too heavy, Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. But enough about the onions. We're not here to talk about onions. We're here to talk about.
No.
We're here to talk about you today. Just gonna throw this out. I like to ask this question. I like to start every interview with this question. When did you decide that you want to be a professional wrestler? Was it something that you saw on TV? Was it a TV show? Was it a specific wrestler? Why did you decide that professional wrestling is for me?
Well, actually, it was definitely a TV show. It was a TV show by the name of WWF Superstars. Okay. Now, it's funny when I tell this story to many people. I kind of discovered pro wrestling by accident.
Okay.
It was just, normally I was 5 years old. So normally on a Saturday afternoon, right after Saturday morning cartoons is over, you rush right outside, going down to your best friend's house, and you're playing Nintendo and such. Yeah.
Okay.
But this particular Saturday, I decided to stay in right after Saturday morning cartoons, and WWF Superstars aired at 12 in the afternoon. And I'm, Saturday morning cartoons is over, and I see WWF Superstars, and I'm literally just watching these larger than life, colorful characters on my TV screen. So, I'm seeing like the Rockers, I'm seeing Ultimate Warrior, Sergeant Slaughter, The Undertaker, and I'm just like, whoa, what is this? This is awesome. And I've been sucked in ever since. It was literally that day when I was like, you know what? I think I want to do this. I think I want to become a professional wrestler. So it was age 5 on a Saturday afternoon when I decided that I wanted to be a pro wrestler.
Wait, wow. So who was your hero? Was it the Ultimate Warrior? Who'd you look up to the most as a professional wrestler?
Honestly, it wasn't actually, to be honest, it wasn't just one. It was a tag team that I looked up to that I loved, and it was none other than the Rockers. The Rockers were awesome. I love Shawn Michaels, love Marty Jannetty. Like, these guys were like, again, really super colorful, energetic, high octane. When they came out, like the crowd went crazy for them, and they were just doing all these cool moves that no one's seen before. I mean, I know I sure as heck haven't, and it was always them that I watched. It was just them, and I just remember back in the days of going to your neighborhood video store and renting WWF tapes, and legitimately, I always told my parents that they were like, "Oh, hey, which one do you want?" And if it didn't have the Rockers on there in some way, shape, or form, I didn't watch it. So yeah, it was definitely the Rockers for me.
Yeah, no, I got you. I'm a big fan of the Rockers. Actually, I'm probably a little older than you, but I remember them from the AWA days when they were the Midnight Rockers, and they had
yes.
Yeah, they had the big feud with Buddy Rose and Doug Summers for the AWA World Titles. But yeah, yes. Big fan of the Rockers. Always wanted them to beat the Hart Foundation for the tag team titles, but they weren't.
Yes, that was the best feud ever. Like, they always feuded for those belts, and they just could never bring it home.
Yeah, great matches also against the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard against the Rockers.
Yes.
Those were some classic matches.
Yes. My personal favorite, them and the British Bulldogs. I mean, the list goes on and on. These guys were awesome.
Well, when I'm done, I'm gonna have to get onto YouTube and look up some Rockers video. You got me in a rocker mood right now.
You got me in a Rockers mood. I think after this, I'm gonna have to, jump on the network and just start watching Rockers matches.
Yeah, you and me both. You and me both, man.
Right on.
Okay, so you debuted. It was 2007. Is that correct? 2007.
You are correct. Yep.
Yep. So
September 22nd, 2007. Yep.
So you were trained by Chris Hero and Mike Quackenbush. What was that training like? Because I know Chris Hero, he's Cassius owner right now in NXT. But what was that training like with Chris Hero and Mike Quackenbush?
It was phenomenal, and a bit intimidating. Just from it's a far cry from watching it on TV than actually getting in the ring and doing it.
Okay.
Working with and training with Mike and Chris Hero, like they weren't just trainers, like it was almost like life coaches too. They helped you in every way, shape, and form. Like they pushed you to try certain things, to basically break out of the mold, break out of your comfort zone, get over that fear. It was always fun. It was always serious. They definitely like to perfect. They definitely like to perfect their craft and definitely give knowledge, which was great. I got to be honest, I couldn't have asked for better trainers. Truth be told.
I got you. Was that through a school, or were you assigned to a promotion and they trained you, or was it a school that they had?
No, it was the Chikara Wrestle Factory. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, actually, it's a good thing you mentioned that because I want to go right into that because actually, now, did you debut as the forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, because I've heard different versions of it pronounced on online. But is it Amasis or Amasis? How is that pronounced?
Amasis. Yeah, it was Amasis. Tomato.
Okay, so did you debut right away as Amasis with Ophidian in the Syrian portal?
I did.
Okay.
I did. It was literally, I believe I debuted 3 months after Ophidian did.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, it might have been a little bit longer. My memory is hazy, but yes, I definitely did debut into the Amasis character. Right at the old ECW arena. It was a lot of fun. I was nervous because at the time too, we were put against Shane Storm and Jigsaw, who were like, they were day one Chikara. Like these guys, they were around for years before us. So it was like one of those kind of like, all right, you guys got it in training. You guys are doing this great, here. Now let's see what you guys got on the grand stage against two of our seasoned vets.
Okay.
And that's nerve wracking. You're like, it's just like, you don't want to, look bad with the veterans, So it was a nerve wracking day, but it was fun.
I can imagine. It's very, very nerve wracking if if one of your first matches and it's I'm sure the butterflies were flying around your stomach.
Oh yeah.
So how did your Syrian portal with you and Ophidian? How did that originate? Is it something that you came up with, or was it a character that was presented to you? How did that all come about? Because I'll tell you, I've watched some videos on YouTube. You guys were phenomenal together. You guys were a terrific team, and I was just wondering how did they come up with these characters? So how did those characters originate?
I mean, it was a joint effort. It was one of those, once you go through the training, they give you a character. So I remember hearing for the longest Quack wanted to have a Pharaoh gimmick, but he didn't have anyone that could portray a Pharaoh until I joined the Wrestle Factory. Okay. And that was it. Now the Funky Pharaoh part of it came just when I was messing around in training. We were doing practice matches, and I just started cutting the rug during just messing around.
Sure.
And it was just one of those like, when they see it, they're like, oh wait, hey, what was that? That was good. I want to see more of it.
Yeah, no.
And I did. You know what I mean? And it was just like, okay, so every week in practice, I'm thinking of like new moves to do, new dance steps and things of that nature. And, it was like, you and Ophidian worked so well together. I think this is going to be a thing. Let's see how this works.
Yeah.
And it worked very well.
No, it
very
did.
well.
It did work. You guys, like you said, you guys were terrific together. Would you say that it was a success right from the start, or did you guys have to work on the characters for a bit? Because the matches I've seen, you guys work really well together, and you do the 450 splash, which we're going to get into it in a moment. But is it fair to say you guys had success almost immediately, or do you think did you have to work on it for a bit?
I mean, it was, I don't want to call it immediate success, because here's the thing, especially after that first match we had, it was like, all right, these are the new characters that are out there, they're colorful, they're great. They had one good match. Okay, that's fine and good. Let's see if they can run with it. So we knew at that one point in time that the spotlight was kind of on us, because it was just like, okay, you guys are young, you guys graduated to main shows pretty fast. Let's see if you guys can withstand the pressure. And it was a lot of hard work. I feel like maybe our fourth month in wrestling, wrestling consecutively, consistently, excuse me, I really feel like that's when we started getting a hang of things.
Okay.
We started to find our niche and and starting to really grasp the fan base.
Okay, I gotcha. I also was reading that you were, I don't know if this was, I read, I think I saw it online, that you were the Pharaoh Ants. Is that correct?
Yes, that was in fact a thing. Yeah, it was a thing for Chikara. I did a stint when I teamed with the Colony for a bit, and that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I those guys are awesome, and being able to team with them and make magic in the ring with them was fantastic. It was great. It was a great experience being an ant for majority of a year, actually. Majority of one of the years I was working with Chikara, so it was a lot of fun. It was different.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can imagine it. Being a professional wrestler must be. It has to be a lot of fun. I wish I could do it, but I'm too old right now. So I just do this. I just do the podcast. I enjoy talking to wrestlers. So I'll leave the wrestling. I'll leave the wrestling to the wrestlers.
Okay, all right.
There you go. So the 450 splash, I was like, how do you perfect something like? Because I could barely do a somersault. How did you perfect the 450 splash? Like, how long did it take you until you got that? Because it's not an easy move to do. Not too many people can do it. So, how long did it take you to perfect that move?
Oh, it took a while. A lot of bumps and bruises from the crash pad. But it was more so what it was getting over the actual fear of being on that top rope.
Okay.
It's funny for anyone just stepping into the ring and getting into a wrestling ring, it's scary,
of course.
Especially being on that top rope. That's what they don't call them high risk maneuvers for anything. It's very high risk. It's very sketchy. It's very scary. It took me a while. I mean, it was just really after practice. I stuck around for like an extra hour or two and just kept doing it over and over again until I started getting it down. And I would have Ophidian look at me like, "Hey, you watch this," and he would tell me you over rotated this time, or you didn't tuck enough, or you didn't tuck you tucked too much. It was literally just repetitive movement of me just trying until one day I finally nailed it, and I was able to do it constantly in every match.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was fun. It was fun being able to bust out a new maneuver. Definitely a confidence booster.
Oh, all right. Gotcha on that. Now, I saw something interesting. I was watching a match with you and Ophidian. I think it was for VOW against Generation Dead. After the match, you picked Ophidian up in a wheelbarrow, and he hypnotized, I think it was Salem. What was, and then the music started playing. She started dancing, and you just went down on the floor, put in a lounge position, and just watch as she's taking off her clothes. What was that? Is that a part of the gimmick that you hypnotize people? And I thought that was hilarious, especially you dropping down in a lounge position and just watching.
Yeah, I mean that was the stipulation. It was it was a feud between the Portal and Generation Dead, and it was one of those okay, if the Osirian Portal wins, Salem has to do the tease. and we won. And I just happened to enjoy the fruits of my labor. So, but yes, I mean, the hypnosis was definitely something that was fun. It was different. It was very. I like to think it was innovative. You didn't see much of that around. You didn't see much of that at all, if anything, in wrestling at the time. Ophidian and I were coming through the ranks and coming up in professional wrestling. I'm actually happy and proud of the steam it got when we basically decided to, hey, let's try this out and see what happens. And, we all saw what happened. The rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, no, it was a great gimmick. It really worked. I thought it was brilliant. Because I wasn't expecting it. You just lifted him up. He did a little waving of the hands, and she was hypnotized. And I forget what song it was.
I believe it was "Turned Down for What."
Yeah, no, that was right. Too. "Turned Down for What." And as soon as it starts playing, and she starts dancing, I thought it was great. Great work there, man. Great work there.
Thank you.
So for the Osirian portal, would you say Chikara is where you had your most success, or was it Combat Zone Wrestling, or where would you say that you had your most success?
You know what? I don't think any one place was more successful than the other. I mean, I feel like we found our own little successes in different places. I mean, Chikara, I feel like as Chikara as our home promotion, we found most success because that's where we were built from. We held the Campeones de Parejas for a pretty long time. It was almost the longest. And then, going on to Combat Zone, which was definitely something different than what we were used to in the Chikara world, as they call it. Working for CZW, I feel like the victory for us was actually winning their crowd over.
Okay.
Because they have the CZW crowd are very passionate about their wrestling. They're very passionate, and they have no bones about telling you how they feel.
Sure.
Right? Like if you stink, they will tell you that you stink from the moment you come through that curtain until you walk back. They're brutal, but they're honest, and you can't fault them for voicing their opinions. I mean, they pay their hard-earned money; they can say whatever the heck they want, right?
Of course.
But it was fun. I mean, it was cool. Like being able to, like I said, from that first time they saw us, it was like, wait, what is this? I'm not, it's different. I don't like different. This isn't CZW. This isn't what Combat Zone Wrestling is all about. And then as our tenure there, we started to turn them around. It was like, okay, this is cool. This is fun. This is quirky. We like it. We're giving it a chance. And just even just being able to go around to other promotions and, wrestle with some of the best out there, win championships up and down the road.
Sure.
Being able to wrestle, in Japan for the first time, which was amazing. I feel like, we had success everywhere instead of just one place. Well, that answers.
Wow, I didn't know you were in Japan. Oh, tell me about that. Was it New Japan Pro Wrestling? What promotion did you?
Oh, no. It was for 01.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, it was actually they saw us at Akuto Hadaka actually saw us at Evolve.
Okay.
And we were in a fatal four-way tag, and it was the stip was the winners of the fatal four-way tag gets an immediate spot on the Evolve roster. Ophidian and myself won, and he was just. I guess he was, hobnobbing with Hadaka because, Hadaka was talking to him. And a few weeks later, I get a phone call from Ophidian. He's like, hey, Japan wants to bring us over. And I'm just like, wait, what? Like, wait, we're going to Japan? He's like, yeah, let's do this. And it was really cool. What was really cool for us was the fact that we were only in our third year, and we're already getting a call to go to Japan.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's almost, like I said, it's almost unheard of for guys that young to get the attention of Japan.
Of course.
So, I mean, which was, very impressive amongst our peers and our vets was like, wow, you guys are doing it. You guys are working really hard for this spot. We're proud of you. Mike gave us our blessing. Hero gave us his blessing. Even at the time, Claudio and Sarah Del Rey gave us. It was like, hey, they even gave us some tips on how to wrestle the style. They actually worked with us a lot more, and really just dropped knowledge on what to expect when we're over there.
Well,
and most importantly,
well, you guys had a terrific gimmick, and you guys were, like I said, you guys are really, really talented. So I think Eminem once said, "Talent can't be denied," and talent can't be denied. So that's why I feel in the third year that you got the call to go to Japan.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a worthwhile experience, and it was definitely cherished by me and Ophidian. Like, it was a blessing to be able to get over there and see that side of the world and see how they do things in the rest of the world. It was great. It was great.
How long were you there for? Was it a few months or?
No, it was a week. It was a whole week.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, like we flew in on a Sunday, had some training with them at the dojo, which was great.
Okay.
Had a show at Hurricane Hall on a Wednesday, which that was just phenomenal. Then we had like off days, and then we had more training, and then we had their big televised anniversary show was that Saturday night during at the end of the week, and that's where we actually wrestled for the NWA Light Heavyweight Tag Team Championship against Akuta Hadaka and Minoru Sawa, who were the tag champs. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. You guys were also in ROH.
Yes.
I saw. They couldn't find the whole match, but it was you guys against Kevin Steen and El Generico, who of course are Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in WWE. Yes. What was going on with the dancing there? You put up one arm, he to do a test of strength, and did the other arm. Then you started. I guess you became the was it the Funky Pharaoh? Was that just doing a little dance there?
That's it. That's what it was. I tried. I had to try to confuse Generico with the art of dance, but I mean, we all saw the video. He kind of outdanced me.
Yeah, no, he did pretty good with the dance. I was impressed.
No, he schooled me. I got served. He served. He served me.
I don't think Kevin Steen or Kevin Owens could dance as well as Sami Zayn, though.
You know what? I feel like he's got some funk in those legs, man. I don't know. I think it'll be very hard to get Kevin Owens to dance.
Yeah, it's a good thing you weren't in the ring with Bubba Ray Dudley, because then he would have really outdanced you.
You know what? Yes. You know what? That's one thing. That's one person I don't want to have a dance off with. Because I'll get. It's one of those, like, I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm not even going to try. Bubba's got moves, man. Like, don't get twisted. Like, he's got moves.
Yeah, he could definitely dance. I used to. Like I said, I'm probably a little older than you, but I went to the original ECW shows that were before WWE purchased them, and I remember seeing a young Bubba Ray Dudley and just in the ring dancing away, and it was just terrific show going to see ECW, and like you said with Combat Zone Wrestling, ECW took their wrestlers very seriously. So if they didn't like you, just like CCW, we let the wrestlers know that they would have to win the fans over.
Yes, exactly. And that's what that South Philly crowd was known for. Like, if you're coming to those shows, even to this day, if you're on that stage and you don't come correct, and you don't come hard with your talent, like I said, they'll boo you right out of the building.
Absolutely, we booed a lot of people out of the building for ECW. Those were some fun times.
Exactly.
So, how was your experience in ROH? I would say that's probably the biggest promotion you worked for. But was it didn't seem like you were there for too long, or what was the experience like?
The experience was great, because we learned a lot. That was the main thing. We had, you had so many smart guys in the back that you could just ask questions to and, just talk to. Like, you had guys like, I remember specifically, like, after the match, Jimmy Jacobs actually, we were all parlaying after the match, and Jimmy Jacobs came up to us, and which was really, really cool, and he just dropped knowledge. And it was one of those moments that when he spoke, like, Ophidian and I literally, I could just feel like our ears open up and just take in everything that he was saying.
Okay.
It was one of those days I wish I had a notebook and just jotted down all those notes that he was telling us.
Sure.
And even then too, just like that, just being in that arena and being in that atmosphere with, at the time, they were the ROH tag champs. It was one of those literal do or die. I remember that was the type of match it was. It was a do or die match. And like I said, it was one of those, like, you're wrestling two of the best, on the scene at that time. And like, if you don't come correct, if you don't come full force, they're just going to eat you up. And
of course,
with us being so young and getting this opportunity, it was like, all right, all eyes are on the young guys. Let's see if they either going to seize the proverbial moment or fall flat on their faces. But I mean, it was one of those, like, when we got there, and it was like the old saying, when you have a taste of steak from eating tuna for most of your life, you don't want to go back to tuna.
Okay, that's very well put. Well put there.
So, like, you get, at the time, ROH was filet mignon, like, for us. And, we had a piece of it, and we didn't want to let it go. So that actually helped us work harder to basically get back and then perfect our craft for the next opportunity that we were blessed with.
Sure. Now, you guys were in the ring with some big names. I'm just going to run a few down. I said El Generico, Kevin Steen. You're also in the ring with the Young Bucks,
yes.
Tommy Ant, who is Aleister Black now in NXT, Cesaro, Johnny Gargano.
How do you know that? Not many people realize that we've been in the ring with Mr. Black some time ago.
Yeah, also Cesaro and Johnny Gargano as well. Just to name a few. Now I know they were up and coming like you were at the time of when you guys met each other in the ring, but I mean they're so talented. I mean, do you learn from each other when you're in the ring, for example, with the Young Bucks? I forget which promotion it was, but do you learn from them, or do they learn from you? I mean, because you guys are basically at the same level at the time of meeting each other. I'm sorry?
No, absolutely, we definitely learn from each other. You learn from everybody that you're in the ring with, and it was just great, especially again to having the opportunity to come up and work with a young Tommy End, and then especially, seeing how smart he was then and seeing how athletic he was then and seeing how gifted he was then, and then that he metamorphosized into what he is now. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Every time we were in the ring with, Claudio or, Cesaro, it was always a learning experience. Always. Because again, that's another guy that was just filled with just endless knowledge.
Sure.
Always, hey, this is good, but you know what? Tweak up on this a little bit. Okay, cool, great, yeah. Okay, this is good too, but you know what? Do a little bit more of this, do less of this. It was always ears open when we had the opportunity to learn from these guys. So it definitely was a learning experience every single time in that ring. Every single time.
Sure. I said Cesaro, but because I can never pronounce his last name. It's Claudio. Is it? Well, I'm sure you know how to pronounce. I can never pronounce the last name. So is it Claudio Castagnoli? Okay. I always mess it up. So that's why I figured I better just say Cesaro.
Sure.
Now, out of all those people that you met in the ring, who would you say was your favorite opponent?
Oh man, you know what? I got to be honest. It's got to be AJ. Being able to share the ring with AJ Styles was, I feel like every young indie guy's dream.
Okay.
To be in the ring with somebody of his caliber, somebody of his talent, somebody of his worth. That there was just an amazing learning experience in itself. The guy's a machine,
Absolutely.
like he didn't get to the top, by being lax and being a slouch. Like that dude, he works hard. He's really good at what he does, and not for nothing, the dude hits like a tank. I'm putting it out there.
Okay, I gotcha. Was it a one-on-one match or was it a part of a tag team match?
No, it was actually King of Trios. It was
Okay.
actually when I was with the Ants. It was myself as Pharaoh Ant,
Okay.
Fire Ant, and Worker. It was against the Bullet Club of the Young Bucks and AJ Styles.
Okay. Did you take a Styles Clash or no?
I took super kicks, a Styles Clash, the whole deal, the whole shebang.
Oh, that's what was it like taking a Styles Clash? Because I know he's injured a few people in the past. I don't know, was that before or after a few people had gotten injured?
It was after.
Okay.
It didn't bother me.
Okay.
It didn't bother me because he's a professional.
Sure.
So and I trusted him 100%. And it's just like and again, things happen. We all know what we're getting ourselves into when we climb through those ropes. So, but like I trusted him. I wasn't afraid. I didn't, go, no, I don't want to do that. Like, no, like,
Sure.
he wants to do it. Hey, I'm your mannequin. Let's make these moves and rock and roll. Let's do it.
Yeah, there you go. Now I was going to ask you who your dream opponent was, but I would imagine that would be the Rockers.
Actually, I mean, man, I dream opponents. I have so many, but
Okay.
Man,
I think you versus Rey Mysterio would be a really good match.
You know what? That's another one of those matches that's that's on my radar to have. Again, watching Rey Mysterio from the old school WCW Cruiserweight days was phenomenal.
Of course.
Those like he was it was just when they brought the Cruiserweight to TV, WCW that's when I was locked in. It was always I would watch Monday Night Raw, and then like when I knew the Cruiserweights were going to be on, I would flip over and watch the Cruiserweights, and then I would go back to Raw. But honestly, to be honest, one of my dream matches would be Chris Jericho.
Okay, fair enough. That's very superstar right there, Chris Jericho.
Yeah. Like I said, the list goes on. I mean, I have a whole bucket list of guys that I would definitely like to get in the ring with.
Do you have like a list like he had 1,005 holds? Do you have a list like that you run down? Do you have 1,005 wrestlers that you want to have a dream match with?
You know what? Absolutely. It's one of those like you sit down and think like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I think I can get in the ring with this guy. I think this guy. I think I could possibly get in the ring with this guy. Absolutely. You absolutely have that notebook of dream matches that you have. Absolutely.
All right, I read that you were injured in 2011 and you were forced to retire. Was that real or was that part of the?
No, it was real.
Okay. So what happened there? How did you get injured?
It happened outside of professional wrestling. I was in a car accident.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad one. I was banged up really nicely. It wasn't a fun time. My back was messed up. I could barely stand up straight at the time. Literally, doctors were like, "Hey, man, they were, the doctors was just like, anything strenuous, he was like, you look like you're a healthy guy. What do you play, football?" And I was like, "No, I do professional wrestling." He goes, "Oh," and then of course the main, the $1 million question is, "Hey, when can I get back and do this?"
Of course.
And he looked at me and said, "I got to be honest with you. With the way the accident happened and the way the pain that you're in, I don't think it'd be a good idea for you to go back." And that hurt. It was definitely hurtful to hear, honest yet hurtful, because again, it was one of those, you worked so hard to get to where you were, only for it to be taken away by like some freak act. It was a sad moment for me, but I didn't take that lying down. No pun intended. Like I got up, went to the gym, I prayed on it, and I was just like, you know what? I think I still have some left in the tank. Let me see. I know my body. Let me see what I can do. And I got back in the gym, started working out my body a little bit more. Then I started going back to the Wrestle Factory training again, and it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready to come back. And it was a blessing to be able to come back healthy, to come back and do what I love and still be able to do it and still be healthy while I'm doing it.
Well, I didn't know it was a car accident, and I'm glad that you were able to come back because, like I said, you're tremendous talent, and you went ahead, you proved the doctors wrong. They said not to do it anymore, but
Right.
you could. You can't keep a good man down, and I'm glad you were able to come back and do what you do, man.
Thank you.
So when you came back, you actually feuded a little bit with Ophidian. Is that correct?
Yes.
So were you the heel? Were you the baby face, or how did that?
No, I was the baby face. I was the returning baby face. The proverbial phoenix from the ashes, if you will. It was a lot of fun. It was great to be received by the Chikarmi, as Chikara calls our fan base, and it was like they didn't forget me. Even to like the new fans, they were like, hey, we've seen some of your old stuff. Hey, but we're glad you're back. It was such a warming feeling to know that, the fans were still my fans. It's just one of those things that, when you're gone for a bit, you could get lost in the shuffle. You could just be forgotten.
Sure.
But it was a blessing to be welcomed back. It was just great. Another one of those moments that I will cherish until I retire, until I'm done doing this.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. So you're Desean Pratt now. So is the Amasis character dead, or are you just going to be Desean Pratt now? Or
Yeah, I mean, yes. I last December I lost my mask in a Lucha de Apuesta match against Fright. Yeah, and that was the day that Amasis was gone. It was I no longer was that persona. It was hard. It was hard, and it was hard because again, I was Amasis for 10 years with Chikara. That's what people know that's what I was known for. That's what people knew me as. Excuse me. It was always, the Funky Pharaoh, and it was sad, but at the same time too exciting because it was one chapter closing, and then time to open another chapter, if you will.
Sure. So do you feel you need to prove yourself all over again as after being Amasis after all these years?
Absolutely,
okay.
I do. More so because a lot of the fan base don't realize, or still to this day don't know that I used to be under the mask. They don't realize that, oh wow, hey, you were this character. Oh man, So it's basically kind of starting from scratch all over again and just rebuilding on your name, rebuilding on your brand, and just trying to stay fresh and stay relevant in the game.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I see that you actually. So tell me about Lucha TO, because actually when I read that you wrestled for Lucha TO, I got really excited because I live in Toronto, but I didn't know that you wrestled for Lucha TO. I'll admit I'm not. I don't know much about Lucha TO. I know they run shows here in Toronto, but I want to learn about them now that they found out that I think you're the premier title holder in Lucha TO.
Yes, sir. Okay. I am their champion. Yes. Lucha TO is a fantastic promotion. They do great things. I mean, when you go to their shows, you're in for a spectacle. They have like the most loyal fan base. They're always there to have fun. They always pack out the show. Excuse me. The crowds are always rowdy. And just the talent that's on that roster is one of the best talents out there. A lot of up-and-coming young guys, a lot of older guys that have been around for a while, and they still do their thing, and they still go. They still go. Lucha TO is I feel like that's I call them my home away from home. Lucha Toronto.
Okay.
I definitely call them that, yeah.
So when's the next Lucha TO card? Because I got to come down. I gotta come down and watch Desean Pratt. When's
30th.
When's the next show?
30th. July 30th at the Rock Pile, actually.
Okay,
Pile night.
I'm gonna. Well, I'll message you on Twitter. You could just you could maybe send me the. Yeah, I definitely want to get down there and watch you defend your titles. Do you have an opponent yet for that card or not yet?
I do. I'm wrestling Arrow Boy.
Arrow Boy. Okay. You actually recently beat Sami Callihan, correct? At Lucha
I did. Yes, I successfully defended my Premier Championship against Sami Callihan. It wasn't an easy match. I tell you that much. Okay. It wasn't easy. He's a beast. You know, he's a monster. You know, and you know, it's one of those things. He's got a lot of accolades under his name. You know, you say Sami Callihan, people again that bell goes off like, yeah, I know him.
Yep. No.
So in order, yeah, you know, it was a good match. It was a good match, and holding a victory over Callihan definitely helped raise my stock a little bit. So it was cool. It was cool being able to share the ring with someone of his talent and caliber.
No, I'm gonna have to look for that match as well. I could imagine it would be a phenomenal match. I want to ask you this a little earlier because I think I read that you're 5'9". Did you have a concern that maybe because I'm a little guy, I'm like 5'3". You have a concern that I'm a little guy, you know, I have to work harder or I'm going to have a disadvantage because of my size? Did that ever bother you about the size, or you're just like, oh, this is me, I'm going to do the best I can?
Absolutely not. And here's why. Because of guys like Rey Mysterio, guys like Eddie Guerrero, you know, guys like Dean Malenko, like the guys that weren't the tallest, but like their fight was just so great that they couldn't be ignored.
Okay.
So I had, you know, I looked up to those guys a lot, and it was really what really solidified it for me was the night that Rey Mysterio won the WWE title. And I was just like, there you go, right there. That goes to show that you don't have to be 6 foot, 230 pounds to make an impact in professional wrestling anymore. It was that day that the wrestling, to me personally, that I felt it was that day that the wrestling game changed.
Okay.
And definitely then, you know, and then with Daniel Bryan going on to win the title several years later, that kind of kept the wheel going for us smaller guys. It was, you know, for those guys that paved the way and set the tone for us. Like, I'm always forever grateful for those guys, because if it wasn't for them, you know, there wouldn't be opportunities for guys like for guys my height.
Sure. Well, I knew that. I kind of figured that was going to be your answer, but I wanted to hear you say it and get it out there and get it on the podcast. But
sure,
great answer there, man. Great answer.
Thank you.
So, do you watch? I would imagine you would watch kind of the product that you watch. Do you watch WWE, ROH? Do you watch Impact Wrestling? Or I'm sorry, I should say Global Force Wrestling is what it's called now. What wrestling do you watch?
I watch all of it, everything. One of the things that we were taught in our training was don't subject yourself to just one style of wrestling. Enhance your palette of wrestling. So one of my favorite things was there was a gentleman, I can't forget, I feel like I'm going to mess up his name and I'm going to feel so bad. I think his name was Clarence Mayweather. He used to always come to big shows with Japanese talent on the card, and he would just have a plethora of old school wrestling. Okay. And I would just buy everything. Everything from lucha to Japanese puro to, you know, Joshi to World of Sport. Like, my DVD collection is very eclectic. So I pretty much watch I watch and enjoy everything.
All right, there you go. Awesome. Yeah. I will admit I have a little trouble watching WWE these days, but, you know, ROH, Impact Wrestling, New Japan, you know, I'll watch it. And now I'm going to have to get over and see Lucha Tio because it's, right in my backyard, and, you know, got my man, Desean Pratt is wrestling for them. So I'm going to have to get out there and see that. So what's your ultimate goal? What's the ultimate goal for, Desean Pratt?
I mean, you know, the sky's the limit for me right now. I mean, I wouldn't be, I feel like I'd be lying if I said, hey, I would love to grace NXT one day, grace the stage of NXT. Get to be able to go ahead and work for WWE at one point in time. I mean, who knows? I mean, I could say that, and then who knows? I may sign an ROH contract, or I might get picked up by Global Force. I'm not opposed to going anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know you worked with Jonathan Gresham in the past. I know he's with ROH now. I think you guys would make a great tag team for ROH. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, these guys work together, and I think Pratt and Gresham would make a great tag team.
Oh yeah, I mean, Gresham is another one of those machines. Like, he eats, sleeps, and breathes the sport, and you can just see it every single time he steps into that ring. He gives 120%. So I don't disagree with you on that one. I definitely think Gresham and I would be a phenomenal tag team. All
right, man. All right. So before we wrap this up, is there anything you want to plug? I know you got you already plugged the Lucha TO show, but any other shows you want to plug? Twitter handle, Facebook page? Go right ahead. Plug away, man. Plug away.
Definitely. I mean, you can find me on Twitter at the Desean Pratt. You can also find me on Instagram at Desean Pratt Wrestler. Also check out Powerbomb TV. These guys actually just had their Break the Barrier show. It was a huge success. They're doing big things. I just got announced, to be in their independent wrestling championship tournament. So that's going to be hot soup. So, that's pretty much it. That's it for the plugs right now.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I just want to thank you so much for responding to my tweet and saying that, and without, because if you didn't respond, we wouldn't be talking right now. But thank you for responding. I really appreciate it. You've been awesome. Thanks for coming on. And anytime you want to come back, just send me a message, and you can come back anytime.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Well, this is Louis Carlin for the Pro Wrestling Personified Interview Podcast for the Tapped Out Podcast Wrestling Network. Again, I'm Louis Carlin. Again, I want to thank Desean Pratt for joining me today. Thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll be back real soon. Bye-bye.